Humidity as we approach summer here in mid-May in Baton Rouge. Here we go. The first pitch is hit high and it's hit deep. It is carrying, and dropped against the left field wall. And the runner winds up at second.
As you can imagine, he was concerned with that wall, took his eye off of it, and he seems to be okay at the moment in left field.
Hasty was no factor whatsoever in the first two-thirds of the season, but the last month, after he found his control and rhythm after many bullpen sessions, Hasty has become a primary reliever, and he has been super good over the last month for LSU. Jacob Gonzalez is on a 5-game hitting streak, and he's been on base in 14 consecutive games. He's got a runner in early scoring position. Hasty cranks it. It's bunted into the air. And the out is made at first base.
Nice play that time by Collier Cranford not to panic. They thought they had a chance to catch it in the air, and he took his time and fired a strike across the diamond. Cranford, of course, in the lineup because Jacob Berry's still out with that injured right hand.
So Bench advanced to third on the sacrifice by Gonzalez, and here is the very dangerous Tim Elko.
I'd be surprised if Elko saw a fastball this at bat, quite frankly, and he started him off with a breaking ball. You know, with a base open, a lefty on deck, this screams, you know, make him hit your best. And right now, Hasty's left-handed breaking ball is as good as any left-handed breaking ball in the country this past month.
Elko is really good with runners in scoring position. He has averaged .364 when he's had a runner in scoring position. This will score a run. It's bounced down to Collier Cranford. Cranford throws it over to Morgan, and the Rebels lead 1-0.
Well, that's why I don't call pitches for a living, because, I mean, that was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer portion. A little surprising. I thought they were going to maybe play for more of a strikeout situation. Instead, they went ahead and allowed the run as Elko just put it in play, and the infield was back.
Well, Elko this year now has produced runs with a runner at third base 10 of 14 times. So he's a guy who is able to get a lot of RBIs with runners available to him. And on that weak ground out to the left side, Bench scored, and the Rebels lead at 1-0. They've been in the lead most of this series. Here's Kevin Graham. He homered yesterday, and he lines this one to right field. Kevin Graham now has hit safely in 7 straight games as he promptly extends his hitting streak.
Like Kevin Graham right here hits an elevated breaking ball. Look at that position. He is ready to hit, spread wide, minimal movement, and that ball never got below his belt. That's why he was able, even with a breaking ball, to get a good look at it. Had those hands high and back, Lynn, which allows you to stay back on off speed. You know, even if your bottom half gets fooled, those hands being up and back allow you to buy a little extra time.
Kemp Alderman has hit safely in 8 straight games. Alderman was a big part of a huge comeback victory by Ole Miss last year. He hit a home run to complete the comeback for the Rebels against the Tigers. LSU led 9-1 in that game and lost it 10-9, and Alderman had a big part of it. Out of Decatur, Mississippi, is this designated hitter. Hasty works in the strike, and that levels the count. 2 outs, a runner at first base, a double by Bench to lead it off in deep left center field, a sacrifice, an Elko RBI ground out, and Graham, with 2 gone, has singled sharply to right. Alderman waits a slightly open stance. He stands deep in the box, and Hasty misses. This is the first appearance in this series for Hasty. He has been so good as Hasty the last month.
He and Mikhail Hilliard, Lynn, are probably the MVPs on the mound the last, since the beginning of April. They have both been very, very good for the majority of that month plus.
Swing and a miss.
82-mile-an-hour hook from Hasty. He's got a couple different kinds. He's got the big sweeper, more slurvish, more sliderish to lefties, but he can throw that kind of old-fashioned 12-6er to right-handers.
Hasty had no appearances this year before he worked 2/3 of an inning in early April, so he went 6 weeks on the sideline with no appearances before developing. The runner is on the move. Ground ball left side. Thompson dives, gets up, makes the throw. Morgan catches the short hop. Nice. Freshmen in the lineup today. Cruz and Doty and Morgan are sophomores, and so are Jobert, Thompson, and Cranford. So a sophomore-dominated lineup.
In case you were wondering, there is nobody up in the Ole Miss bullpen, so Diamond is expected to go as long as he can, not just face one batter like Dutton did.
Pearson takes a strike, and that levels the count at 1. Pearson is making his 24th start. This is the 40th game in which he has appeared. 6 home runs for Josh Pearson, 23 driven in. So he's had some production during the times he has been given an opportunity.
And congratulations are in order to Josh Pearson's alma mater, West Monroe High. They won the 5A state championship last night over in Sulphur. His younger brother on that team. And, they trailed. Santa Ma led 6-0 in that game, and West Monroe came back and won 9-6. So Coach Semino up there, Wade Semino, with a state championship. First time in over 20 years for West Monroe.
The 2-2 pitch is hammered down to the first baseman. He's got it, and the pitcher is covering for the out. So Elko able to get it to Diamond for the first out, 3-1 on the putout, and here is Dylan Cruz. Defensively, it's Graham, McCants, and Leatherwood. And you see the infield there as well. Bench at third. Gonzalez is the shortstop. Chatinier is the second baseman, and Elko on first. And Dunhurst is behind the plate for Ole Miss.
Good matchup right here between a hard-throwing preseason All-American type guy, preseason All-SEC guy, and Diamond versus Cruz. 93 on that heater. Derek Diamond goes 6'2", 200 pounds, out of California. Matchup of California versus Florida right here. Dylan Cruz goes 6', 203 out of Longwood, Florida.
The 2-strike pitch smashed on a hop that might have gotten a piece of the glove of Gonzalez, who did everything he could to stop that missile. Gonzalez was able to get a piece of leather on it, but Cruz on an 0-2 pitch rips it.
Yeah, this is too much plate for an 0-2 pitch. It was a slider that just kind of hung right there in the middle of the dish. And Cruz was not fooled. It almost looked like he anticipated it. He had great balance and hit it hard to left field.
So LSU gets an immediate base runner, as did Ole Miss with the leadoff double by Bench. A 1-out single here by Cruz, and it brings on Cade Doty. Cade is hitting under 300 now for the first time in a while at 296, though. This is start number 51. He gets the bunt down, and Diamond lobs it over to first base. So Doty, sacrificing with 1 out, gets Cruz to second.
That gives you an idea right now of the struggles that Cade Doty is having. The average now under 300, and he was, for the first 2 months of the season, arguably top 1 or 2 hitters for the Tiger. Been in a little bit of a slump. That time you're going to let him bunt in the first inning. That is a surprise.
LSU was hitting .288 as a team coming into this game, but the Tigers in this series have really struggled offensively. LSU in this series is hitting .129.
Their average as a team down to .288. That average was in the 290s, obviously, before the weekend. In comparison, Ole Miss's average is, I believe, .277 as a team.
LSU was 8 for 62 in the first two games of this series. And Dugas and Morgan have 5 of those 8 hits. Dugas with 3 of them. And Morgan, who's at the plate right now, has gone 2 for 8 in the series. Dylan Cruz would score on just about any kind of a base hit from second base with 2 gone. McManus is on deck. LSU trails 1-0, bottom of the first. The Ole Miss Rebels have won 8 of their last 10 games. The pitch to Trey, swing and a miss. Josh Stevenson has gone into the game in left field for the Tigers. So perhaps Dugas was unable to continue after a medical examination after banging into the wall trying to make a catch in deep left center field on an opening pitch blast by Justin Bench.
Well, you saw how Dugas's hand was all taped up on the glove hand, the thumb and everything from where his injury was. It's already probably not 100%. And so combined with running into the wall on that hurt hand, obviously he's not feeling good. They took him out, Josh Stevenson, in the ballgame. You pick up some added defense. Josh a little faster, has more range, but obviously lose a lot offensively as Dugas has been swinging a hot stick.
The 0-2 pitch, high and away, or inside, I should say. Dugas suffered a bursa sac in his hand, and that's what put him on the shelf for a while. Still a painful type situation for him at times. And you're right, Ronnie, that left hand was the lead contact point as he smashed into the fence. The play will have to be made at first, and it is on a close play. Hasty was able to get the throw from Trey Morgan.
Nice play once again by Trey Morgan. He did a nice job, too, of not flipping it too soon. He made sure to make a good flip because Jacob was not very hasty getting over to the first base. Got there just in time, it looks like. Just in time to get the runner.
So McCants is thrown out, first baseman to pitcher covering. And here is Hayden Leatherwood, the right fielder. Leatherwood out of Collierville, Tennessee. He hits it high. He hits it deep. The only question mark is it fair or foul? It is a fair ball home run, a long one for Hayden Leatherwood, his 5th of the season, and he really put a charge into it. Ole Miss has been hitting the long balls with frequency in this tournament. It's 2-0.
Well, this was one of the biggest home runs you'll ever see. This was a titanic blast by Leatherwood out to right field, and somebody's going to have to call Cribbs Incorporated and get another Takata shingle out there on top of the roof in right field because something just broke. That was a big time homer.
The 5th home run by Leatherwood this season and the first home run that Hasty has surrendered this year. Chatinier ties into one. Way back it goes. It's over the head of the center fielder Cruz up against the wall. And Chatinier bangs a double off the center field wall, his 7th. And these Rebels have been swinging solid sticks here in the first 2 innings. Boogie. Runner is on the move from second base, and he was absolutely unguarded.
Well, an excellent read by Chatinier, who's got picked up stolen base number 6 in 8 attempts this year. He had Hasty figured out, one looker on the move. As soon as he turned his head to go home, he took off. They knew a breaking ball was coming as well with a lefty at the plate, and he had it easily without a throw.
That is the first stolen base in the series by either team. By the way, LSU's Jacob Berry in that series against Ole Miss in the Super Regional last year went 5 for 13. He, of course, remains in the boneyard with injury. Dunhurst looks at a pitch that's just a little bit outside. We welcome you to Baton Rouge, SEC baseball. Ole Miss has won the first 2 games, and the Tigers have been mired in a hitting slump against Ole Miss pitching. Hasty with a runner at third, only 1 out. 1 in the first and 1 in the second for the Rebels. The pitch bounced up the middle. This will score a run. Thompson charges, makes a do-or-die effort on that short hop and can't find it, and it rolls on into center field. That literally is a play you must charge, and you must just make a stab at it. Not a high percentage play in terms of trying to make fielding success.
Yeah, but he was playing deep, shaded up the middle, saw the high chopper, did the right thing, because there's no chance if he stays back and lets it, take the big hop, is he going to get that runner? Has to come get it. Just didn't come up with it.
That's going to be ruled an error, but that's an awfully tough play.
Is that ruled an error?
It is.
Wow. That's a tough one. I'd like to see whoever's doing the hit error to go try to field that ball.
That's a play that will even, and I'm not making excuses for Thompson. LSU, of course, has been plagued by a lot of injuries, but that's a play that major leaguers don't make the higher percentage of the time.
I'll use a pitcher comparison. Oftentimes when you're walking a lot of hitters or you're not throwing a lot of strikes, and all of a sudden you throw that one right on the corner and you want it to be called a strike, and the umpire calls it a ball, because most of the time you are wild. I think that's what happened to Thompson. He's had such a tough year defensively that it's like, wow, there's another error. Like, no. That was a hit. That should have been an infield single.
Back to the top of the order for Justin Bench. He already has had a part of the scoring. He doubled and came across on an Elko groundout. This young man out of Reddington Beach, Florida. 1 in the first and 2 in the second for the Rebels. So far, this has not been LSU's finest moment this season.
Usually you have a weekend like this. I mean, it's rare that you go through a whole season and don't have that just super disappointing weekend.
A line drive leaves the yard. Is it fair? Is it foul? It is a foul ball. Justin Bench delivered a lot of torque, but yanked it a bit foul.
Well, the third base umpire, Derek Malika, just with the nonchalant foul call. Like, come on, big guy, give me the big hands, big, and be a dramatic foul. Instead, he kind of went with they kind of halfway went up, so that people were a little unsure on if it was fair or foul if you weren't sitting in the right part of the ballpark. That was Derek Malika over there at third base. Been a tough weekend for the umpires here this weekend. There was a controversial play over at first base, and he was the umpire over there at first base on that controversial fair foul call with ball hit off Morgan's glove. And then yesterday he's behind home plate, took a foul ball right off the armpit, where there was no padding, and went down for a little bit.
LSU holds on the force Collier Cranford's throw was toward the left field side, and the LSU second baseman had to turn into a first baseman, Cade Doty, with a long stretch to hold on. Obviously, there was no chance for a relay to first base.
Good decision by Cranford and an even better job by Doty. That ball, he had to turn into Trey Morgan over there at second base, did Cade Doty, and he did his best impersonation.
So the fielder's choice allows bench life. And here's Gonzalez. Two outs, a couple of runs in the inning. Leatherwood hit a one-out home run well over the right field wall. Chatinier followed with a double. He stole third base and then scored on what was ruled an error on Thompson.
Ole Miss with 5 left-handers in the lineup today, and that's why Jay Johnson did his little trickaroo where he's put Samuel Dutton in the lineup as a starting pitcher, made sure Mike Bianco loaded his lineup with lefties, and then after the first batter brought in Jacob Hasty. You see that occasionally in the major leagues. We've seen that done. The only issue for me, Lynn, is now you burn Samuel Dutton. Like, he's a pretty good pitcher. And so you only get to use him for that one batter, where if you started Hasty, Dutton could have come in relief and maybe gone 2 or 3 innings if you needed him to. So it's a gamble for sure.
Jacob Gonzalez out of Glendora, California, and Hasty will keep the runner close. Ole Miss in the first 2 games hit .240 against LSU pitching. Gonzalez was 2 for 10 in the first 2 games. He scored a couple of runs, and he has driven in 3. He had a sacrifice bunt in the first. Hasty pops the mitt, but it's high. 2-0.
So how about this statistic yesterday? Ole Miss scores 11 runs in the ball game, dominate the Tigers to 11-1, and their team batting average on the year went down 3 points. That gives you an idea of the free passes and the errors and everything that LSU did in that ball game to help them get those 11 runs.
Ole Miss has hit 6 home runs in this series, including the one today.
We know very well, being in Baton Rouge for many years, LSU fans, when it gets hot like this, when temperatures get into the 90s, the humidity's in the 90s, old box, new box, ball flies. And that has been the case the last couple of home series here, and that has been the case again this weekend.
These Rebels are making a push in the last few weeks of the season for postseason play. The 2-1 from Hasty. Lofted out of play, foul. The Rebels are 30-19. They are 2 games under 500 in the SEC with 1 series to go. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs, 2 in. 3-0 Ole Miss. Hasty to Gonzalez. Instead, a look to first. Look at the 7-day change in RPI for Ole Miss. 6-7 versus top 50 teams. Strength of schedule is number 27 in the country. But Ole Miss is a rising team the last 3 weeks, winners of 8 of its last 10. The pitch bounced up the middle to the backhand side. Doty's got it. in strength of schedule.
Two teams at the moment heading in different directions, but the thing about baseball is you got to get 27 outs. So plenty of game left to be played. There's no clock. There's no time limit. You just have to get 27 outs. And we've seen crazier things happen. A couple of weeks ago, A&M trailed 9-0 in their ball game at home, came back and won. So it's all possible for LSU to turn things around in this game.
Tyler McManus is 1 for 5 in the series. Derek Diamond delivers a little bit inside, 1-2. McManus goes down on strikes. Here's Josh Stevenson. Stevenson is making his first at bat. He has replaced Gavin Dugas, who apparently injured himself running into the left center field wall trying to chase down a base hit in the first inning. So Stevenson batting for the first time. Derek Diamond has struck out 2. He's allowed a hit to Cruz on an 0-2 pitch. Stevenson has had a couple of at-bats in the series without a base hit. The 0-2 pitch is spoiled off to the left side.
We talked about Ole Miss getting hot lately. Vanderbilt playing a little bit better. Now they lost today to Arkansas, so their record's 13-13, but that's LSU's next opponent. And Jay Johnson a week ago said he expects that to be difficult on the road, and they present a challenge because they're going to try to steal a lot. They have tremendous speed, and LSU hasn't been challenged really on the base paths like they will next week against Vanderbilt.
Stevenson spoils another 0-2 pitch. Jobert is on deck. Derek Diamond, who came into the game with a high ERA, throws an off-speed pitch there, and Stevenson waves through it.
That was an excellent straight changeup, 0-2. He threw the 0-2 fastball, got fouled off, came back with a changeup, and watch how it moves and falls off the plate, too. Great down and away movement from Stevenson.
That takes a very practiced grip to get a ball to do that.
That's part of the reason why going into the season, he was preseason so high with the expectations. Got that potential mid-90s fastball, good command, throws a lot of strikes, and has that excellent changeup.
He has struck out 3 in a row, as has Diamond. And Ronnie, this is hard to believe, but the Tigers now have struck out 28 times in this series.
Wow.
Jobert bounces it to the first baseman. Diamond is covering. The out is made at first. It's a quick 1-2-3 inning. So we move on to the third. Ole Miss got one of the slow, awkward start because of some injury and some poor play, frankly. First 6 weeks of the season for the Rebels, but this Rebels team in mid-May is far different than it was in March.
Well, and if you're going to get hot, this is the time that you want. You know, this team's starting to play like they thought they would be. This was a team expected by preseason rankings to be in the top 2 or 3 in the league, and particularly in the West. And it's been a strange year in the SEC West, to say the least. You look at Auburn and A&M, who are expected to be at the bottom. They're near the top. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State, who are expected to be at the top, are near the middle and the bottom. So, but things will even themselves out over the course of 30 games. And here's a big reason why they've gotten hot. Tim Elko healthy this year, and we know even when he's hurt, he's a good player, and he's swinging a hot pipe, to say the least. 19 jacks, and we're not even done yet for the regular season.
Ole Miss actually spent a week in the polls as the #1 team in the country very early in the season. Ronnie, I think you could describe the Ole Miss team as talented, as desperate, and as dangerous right now.
It's a good description. You know, they came into the weekend 10-14 in league play, and sort of the magic number is 13 wins in SEC play to get to the NCAA tournament. LSU did it last year. They've done it in the past. That seems to be, about a 3/4 chance or better that you're going to get in if you get to 13 wins, and they knew that.
Hasty makes a nice play. He was turning as he picked it up with his left hand and created the angle, and Elko is retired.
And all they've done this weekend is win 2, so now they're at 12, and so they've got 4 games to get to that 13 mark. 14 is a lock to be in the NCAA tournament, so right now they've kind of turned things around, and they're feeling a lot better about themselves. That was a good play by Hasty, because the most difficult play, Lynn, for a guy, particularly a lefty, is just the panic factor. Don't panic. Be under control. Don't go too fast. Make sure you have all the right proper mechanics on the throw, and he did that.
Here's Kevin Graham. He had a home run yesterday following an Elko home run. If you've just joined us, Samuel Dutton pitched to one batter. In fact, he threw one pitch in a predetermined move that he would start, and then Hasty would come in for the second batter. If Ole Miss wins this game, the very unusual fact of the matter would be the starter Samuel Dutton throws one pitch and could be the loser after one pitch.
That would be
as a starter.
I don't have to look into the program or have a long conversation with Bill Francis. That's never been done before at LSU. That's for sure.
That breaking pitch dives a little bit out of the zone. 3-0. 1 out, nobody on base. 1 in the first and 2 in the second for the Rebels. The at-bat will continue on a 3-0 strike.
Kevin Graham, one of 3 Ole Miss batters that have 10 or more homers on the year. Last time his base hit to right came off of a breaking ball. That was a much better one.
The Tigers have had only one lead in this series, and that was a Cruz first inning home run. So for the most part, LSU has been playing catch up. Yeah. The 3-2 pitch. Let's see if Jacob Hasty can come all the way back against a very good hitter. On a 7-game hitting streak now is Kevin Graham. The full count pitch. Tapped toward the right side. Doty is there. And Hasty indeed gets Kevin Graham on a 3-2 pitch.
So here's the projected preseason. You see Arkansas has held to form, but Mississippi State was predicted to be second. They're now dead last. Ole Miss was picked to be third. They're in the bottom middle of the pack, but rising. And Auburn, nobody was talking about Auburn. They were picked to finish sixth. Now they're up there in third. So and don't forget about A&M. I mean, it's sort of two of them have flipped. Auburn and A&M to the top, Mississippi State and Ole Miss to the bottom.
Kemp Alderman bounced out to Jordan Thompson back in the first inning. We play in the top of the third on a sultry Sunday afternoon. A very lazy wind is blowing out toward right field. This ball is lined and it will carry out to Diamond. Throws a twister for a strike.
Diamond seems to have all three of his pitches working today. The good changeup, fastball's been accurate in the 93-mile-an-hour range, and then you saw the breaking ball right there.
Jordan hitting .273 on the year. This is his 51st start. LSU's last home game of the season is Tuesday against Northwestern State before traveling to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. 5 homers for the LSU shortstop, 23 driven in. He hits it to his counterpart in the hole. The long throw is toward the right field side, and that will be a base hit for Jordan Thompson. And again, he did it on an 0-2 pitch, as did Cruz in the first inning.
Yeah, there was some frustration shown by Diamond right there because he knows he made a mistake. I mean, 0-2, if you're going to, that was an intentional fastball up in the zone. He just didn't get it up enough. And credit Jordan Thompson for taking advantage of the mistake on the location. He gets a base runner for the Tigers.
So both LSU hits have come on 0-2 pitches. And this brings on Collier Cranford. He's been in the lineup in the absence of Jacob Berry. A strike.
I'm just a little surprised that Collier Cranford, in my opinion, doesn't bunt whenever an opportunity presents itself, because you've got a guy who's hitting 105. He's 2 for 19, and this would be a bunt type situation. Nobody, runner at first, no outs. You can get him in the scoring position. Instead, they're letting him swing away.
He hits it deep to right field, but Leatherwood has room near the warning track. And so that out results in no advance by the runner.
And my thought process is you bunt Doty with 1 out, but you don't bunt Collier Cranford. That's strange unless there was a missed signal by Doty or something right there.
So Thompson remains at first base with 1 out. Diamond has been good today, throwing first pitch strikes. He's 7 for 9 as he's gone through the lineup once, and 7 times he has been able to find the strike zone with the first pitch. Not that time, though, to Pearson.
Last few fastballs by Diamond have been 90 miles an hour. That's a little down from where he was early on at 93. So the stuff not as stiff, so LSU have a better chance at if they can get a fastball to hit it.
This is hit well on a line, and rising, you can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Josh Pearson, for the 7th time this year, rams one out of the ballpark, and on one swing, this is a 1-run game. And Josh Pearson really put a charge into it. That ball had a contrail as it left the ballpark.
Yeah, that fastball, only 89 miles an hour, that pitch, and Pearson took advantage of it. Watch how quick he is and just compact. Boom, just short to the ball. He loves an elevated fastball. He's got great balance up there, and he runs that one halfway up the stands, and no doubter off the bat.
That is the 3rd home run in the series for the Tigers. Cruz has 1, Thompson has 1, and now Pearson has 1. So a 2-out home run with 1 gone in the 3rd inning makes this a 1-run ball game, and Dylan Cruz waves and misses at a slow off-speed pitch. Cruz had a base hit back in the 1st. Derek Diamond misses low and outside. Cruz has been remarkably consistent this year. 67 base hits. That's a team-leading number in 51 games, counting this one. And let's add 1 to his hit total. He's got 68 now in 51 games. 17 home runs. Cruz among the league leaders in a lot of categories. 56 driven in. That hugs the line for a while, but misses left. Cruz has more home runs than he does doubles and triples combined.
Wow. The question will be, how good can Dylan Cruz be in this lineup without Jacob Berry? Because other teams are going to circle him with a red pen, pitch around him, walk him, not give him anything good to hit because they don't have that protection with Berry being there next to him. And so for LSU's sake, Berry can't get healthy quick enough.
Doty and Morgan are batting behind Cruz in the 3rd and 4th positions today. 2-2 pitch. Catches the outside corner. Cruz did not think so. Cruz is called out on a borderline pitch.
The Diamond definitely got the benefit of this call. It's a good location. 2-2. Let's take a look right here.
Oh, that's off the plate by 6 inches.
I mean, Cruz definitely has an argument there. Whenever you see a catcher set up his glove on the corner and you see him move it in a direction off the plate, even a little bit, then that tells you it's a ball. Because they don't set up the glove in the middle. They set it up on the corner.
There's a strike to Cade Doty.
If they have to reach across their body to their right, the catcher's right, then that's going to be a ball.
Doty sends one down to Gonzalez. He slings it over to Elko, and the inning is over. A position would make it easy. This ball is foul. Hit well, but McCants yanked it a little bit foul.
Ooh, boy. That was another one. You knew it was going off the bat. The question was fair or foul. McCants making a bid for his 7th homer, but just a little right of the foul pole. Why isn't it called the fair pole? It's called the foul pole. But if it hits it, it's a homer. It's a fair ball.
Correct. Why isn't it called the fair line instead of the foul line?
I agree. I think we should change it. Who do we petition for that? Is there a governing body, international governing body? The 150 years of baseball, we've come up with a better name for it.
All right, you've started it, so I'm going to give you the history of a ball hit up the middle. The description for decades and decades and decades has been hit right back through the box, right?
Yeah, but there's no box in front of the plate.
Do you see a box? Do you see a box at the pitcher's mound?
But there was, I guess, back in the day.
In the day, right. Pitchers didn't pitch off a mound; they pitched from a box.
Mm-hmm. In
the a chalk line rectangular box. It was
much like softball, but rectangular.
Well, it was roughly 8 feet wide and 4 feet deep, and you could run around and deliver the ball like a shot putter or a discus thrower if you wanted to from that box. And that box was in play for many years, and the terminology never left the game even when the box did.
That's wild. So you're saying there's a low percentage we're going to be able to change the terminology since we're still using terminology from 150 years ago. That's wrong.
I think you could say that, yes.
Okay.
I promise you, though.
Foul pole it is.
I am absolutely certain that on no other broadcast of college baseball or Major League Baseball today will that information be made available.
Oh, for sure.
I need a little gold star for that one.
If you need some reassurance, Lynn, that was amazing. Fantastic.
Your sincerity is overwhelming.
I hope someone hits one through the box today so you can use that.
Leatherwood out of Collierville, Tennessee at the plate after the strikeout. The first for Hasty.
Well, Hasty's given them, what they wanted. I'm talking about Jay Johnson. He's pitching into the 4th after obviously facing the second batter of the game. Hasty has worked as long as 4 innings this year. and has worked 3 before, so he's capable of, going 5, I would think, at this point.
5 innings out of any LSU pitcher would be something special this year.
That has not been the norm.
Each team has 4 hits. The Tigers trail by a run. Hasty working. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts by the left-hander.
Well, that was one of the best breaking balls of the day, too. Watch right here. He buries this one. Exactly what you want out of a 1-2 breaking ball. And I'm telling you, Jacob Hasty has just come out of nowhere in the last month and a half, and he has become one of the better left-handed pitchers in the country with that breaking ball.
Hasty coming into this game had worked 17 innings in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 appearances. He threw 4 innings in his last outing at Alabama. That's the longest he has flipped this year. He's only given up 7 hits in 17 innings. Walking only 3 and striking out 21 prior to today's appearance. A check swing roller goes foul on the right side. By the way, let me dispel the notion that's coming my way via telephone and text. I was not working play-by-play when the box was in existence, the pitcher's box.
Well, it's impossible because you would have been talking through a can with a string.
Absolutely. A Dixie cup and a string. Yep.
No equipment back then.
A soup can and a string.
I love back in 1993, LSU was celebrating its 100th anniversary of college baseball, and I was on that team. We played Tulane, and Bill Franquez, the PA announcer, didn't use the PA equipment. He used a megaphone that game.
Oh, that's great.
Like the old school that they did back in the 1800s.
Sure, that's great. Hasty has thrown a lot of strikes here in the 4th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. LSU trailing by 1 as it cut the lead on a Pearson home run with Thompson aboard. Chatinier has hit safely in 5 consecutive games after a double in the 2nd. The pitch off the mark.
I think Hasty got a little fired up right there. The crowd was cheering at a 2-2 pitch. Knew he was going to throw a fastball and tried to overthrow it. He hit 93, but he spiked it in the dirt. Got to try to stay within his lane. We'll see if they come back with the fastball or go to that real good curveball he's been showing.
Hasty has retired 7 consecutive batters. Chatinier from Cypress, Texas, waits with an open stance. Hasty with a long stretch, kicks and unfurls it. It got by McManus, and the runner is safe at first. And that has happened way too much for LSU this year, including in the opening game of the series, which opened the door for a 4-run inning.
Boy, is that a killer for the LSU Tigers. Now Hasty right here goes fastball. Look at the run, just the arm side run away from the hitter. That's what makes it so good and why Chatinier misses it, but so does McManus. And now Jacob Hasty has an opportunity to pull off the rare accomplishment of striking out 4 guys in an inning if he can get it done here.
That was a passed ball. The 8th. The 8th pass ball against McManus this year. And let's see if Hasty can recover. Dunhurst reached on an error last time and picked up an RBI.
Yeah, they ruled it an error when we both agreed it should have been an infield single. That was the high chopper over the mound that Thompson charged on a do-or-die play.
Chatinier stole third base last time, the first stolen base by either team in this series.
It'll be a little different next week for LSU when they go against Vanderbilt, because they sure will be challenging the Tigers on the base path.
Chatinier stretches his lead by a half step. And the pitch. That breaking ball misses to the left-handed batter.
LSU finishes up in Nashville in regular season. Ole Miss will be at home against Texas A&M. Jim Schlossnagle in his first year at A&M alongside former LSU player and assistant coach Nolan Cain. He'll be in Oxford next weekend, take on the Rebels.
Texas A&M has a 3-1 lead over Mississippi State at the moment. That's in the 6th inning. A 2-ball, 1-strike pitch coming from Hasty. We might see Chatinier take off from first base. McManus has thrown out 2 base runners this year in 15 attempts. Chatinier is not moving. Swing and a miss, and McManus does a nice job of coming up looking. Let's see if Hasty can indeed get a 4th strikeout in the inning.
I know McManus picked that ball, but that's not the proper technique on how to block it. He got kind of very fortunate right there. He backhanded the breaking ball as opposed to blocking it with his chest.
Lefty to lefty. 2-2 count. And Hasty will show Chatinier that he has his eye on him.
Somebody needs to tell Dunhurst Hasty's trying to strike out 4 batters in an inning. That doesn't happen, Lynn. So this could be kind of neat for the Tigers.
The 2-2 pitch. It goes to first base instead.
If you're going to steal off of a lefty, Chatinier's going to do it off first movement. So that's why LSU's kind of throwing over there so much. They're hoping that as soon as Hasty lifts his foot, he'll take off and they can pick him off.
If he's going to run, it will be on this pitch. He's not going anywhere. A high fly ball deep to right, yanked down the line. It is off the bottom of the wall, but foul.
Wow, that one looked fair till it wasn't. I mean, off the bat, the whole way, it looked fair until it literally hits the ground. Watch at the base of the wall, the 330 mark where the TAF sign is, and yep, it clearly is about a foot and a half foul. That was a hold your breath moment for the LSU Tiger fans.
Most people in the ballpark did a deep inhale as that ball was in flight. Chatinier has a sizable lead.
LSU with nobody up in the bullpen, even though Hasty's at 62 pitches. That's very different than what we've seen out of LSU during the year. They usually always have somebody down there, but they've shown a lot of confidence in Hasty.
The 2-2 pitch.
Ooh.
That's fouled off of the batter.
Fouled off of himself.
Now, LSU does have a lot of frontline relievers available for this game.
Well, that's right here. Just, I mean, I think I got like 2 or 3 parts of him. That ball rattled around like a pinball off of his own self.
Dunhurst battling Hasty. Once again, the 2-2 pitch. A runner at first base, 2 outs. Now it's 3-2.
Tried to sneak a fastball by him. Thought Dunhurst might be sitting on breaking ball because that's primarily what he's seen right there. But Hasty, again, I think he's overthrew it a little bit, trying to blow it by him as opposed to hitting the spot. It was 93 on the gun.
The outfield is playing Dunhurst as an opposite field hitter. The runner will be moving here with 2 outs. A breaking ball misses, and the inning moves forward. That is only then scored a run. He hit the first pitch off of the glove of then left fielder Dugas, who crashed into the wall, and the ball trickled out of his glove. And Dugas has since been replaced by Josh Stevenson in left field. 2 outs, 2 on. A third strike past ball enabled Chatinier to reach first base. And on a 3-2 pitch, Hasty walked Dunhurst at the bottom of the order. Bench has been on base a lot lately. He has reached in 15 consecutive games, counting today. The 2-0 pitch. It's 3-0. And Ronnie, you go back to a 2-out third strike that was mishandled for a pass ball. And that has enabled Ole Miss to mount a serious threat here. 3-0, 2 on base. And
if you get a 4-pitch pass here, Lynn, I don't think you can wait another batter. You probably got to get the righty in the game. Raiselman is ready to go, and you kind of wanted him to face Elko if you could, but I think you're going to have to bring him in here if you can't come all the way back.
It is a 4-pitch base on balls. So the bases have become loaded in a hurry, in a situation where the Tigers should have been able to get back to the dugout with no damage. But right now, a strikeout pass ball and a pair of consecutive walks have loaded the bases with 2 outs. Chatinier at third, Dunhurst at second, Bench on first. And here's Gonzalez.
Joe McManus, again, this is the old delay. Let Raiselman get a few more pitches. You can see that Jay Johnson actually, I'm sure he's talking to Raiselman on the walkie-talkie, right? I mean, talking to McManus on the walkie-talkie. We got double walkie-talkies. You saw that? We got one walkie-talkie that's probably the bullpen, and then we got the other walkie-talkie that's the umpire, that's to the catcher. Now you got to make sure you don't mix the walkie-talkies. That can be a problem. You know, you think you're signaling the pitcher and you're telling the guy in the bullpen what's coming. That doesn't do you any good.
Or I need a 7th inning double whopper with cheese.
You know, by the way, here at the ballpark, you can call waiter and they'll deliver food to your seat. So maybe one of those other walkie-talkies is for that. I don't know.
Gonzalez at the plate. He swings on the first pitch. He drives it high to center field. Dylan Cruz lopes to his left. He squeezes it, and Hasty. Tyler McManus, and it's Stevenson. The first 3 hitters scheduled for LSU against Derek Diamond. It's hit high. It's hit deep. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Trey Morgan still laboring with an injured leg. Tattoos one into the right field bleachers, and we are brand new, and home runs have accounted for all the LSU runs in the last 2 innings. Home run number 5 for Trey Morgan.
Well, it's crazy to think that this ball game is tied because Ole Miss seems to have been in control. It's actually a breaking ball from Diamond, hangs one a little bit, thigh high, and Morgan, such a good hitter, goes and gets. How about the effort by that fan out there? That's showing some want to, Coach. He went over the top of the back of a seat, fought no one to get the ball, but looked like he was fighting the whole LSU football team to go get it.
So Morgan turns a diamond pitch back into Cole. Three apiece as the Tigers have now taken the lead in hits in this game.
Tigers were down 3-0 in this game and have battled back, and credit Jacob Hasty last inning, leaving the bases loaded. Wiggled out of an inning which he shouldn't have been in that jam to begin with. Had struck out the first 3 batters, and the third batter, ball went by on a pass ball, but fought through it, and now we're starting fresh.
And it brings on Tyler McManus. Most of the league is familiar with Sonny DeShera, the big slugger, the first baseman, the oversized, big slugging first baseman for Auburn. Sonny DeShera and Tyler McManus were roommates at Samford. Both of them have transferred from Samford to SEC schools, and they were roommates over at Samford.
Well, both having really good years as well. And McManus, the last month, has really gotten on fire, picked his average up nearly 100 points, and has climbed up now with the absence of Berry due to injury. McManus is hitting in the 5 spot in this lineup.
DeShera batted 3rd and McManus 4th for several years at Samford. 1 out after the home run by Morgan. Here's Gavin Dugas. I should say Stevenson. Josh Stevenson batting for the 2nd time. Dugas was lifted from the game after running into the fence before he had a chance to get a plate appearance.
Well, we're going to have to, monitor that over the next few days. LSU plays Northwestern State on Tuesday in the final regular season game at the Box. We'll see if Dugas is healthy enough to participate in that one, because that would be terrible news for the Tigers if he's out any length of time. And then you'd be looking at Dugas and Berry out of the lineup, and those are 2 big weapons offensively for the LSU.
Do you have any reliable information on when Berry might be able to return to the lineup?
Not really. Pretty much what we're being told is that it's really up to him on what he can handle from a pain threshold tolerance and obviously being able to just get it done. We've heard he can swing right-handed. Well, that's great, but you face mostly righties, so he needs to swing left-handed against them. I don't know if he had the pins put in or if he's going to have pins put in, but I know that was an option. He's got them braced right now, so it's up to the player and Jay Johnson on what they do with Berry moving forward. In my opinion, I think you hold him out. There you see him. That middle finger on that right hand, all taped up, braced up. I think you hold him out, Lynn, as long as you can. You're better off waiting to maybe a regional or something like that to where he's able to come back as close to 100% as possible.
This is popped up left side. Bench, the third baseman, is calling off the catcher and makes the play.
That was actually well done by Ole Miss. The catcher, Dunhurst, had run over. He was in position to make the play. He had his mask still in his hand. He was waiting and then the communication comes in. Look at the last minute. Bench is calling for it. Dunhurst pulls off. There's no collision. There's no drama. Nobody's real close together, and it was a nice catch.
I don't know if it's a sign of progress for Jacob Berry, but in the past, Ronnie, we've seen those two fingers taped together. This time only the injured finger is using that support tape. Jobert, first pitch swinging, hits it to the midsection of the big first baseman Tim Elko, and he turns it into a 3 unassisted out. Eric Raiselman is the new pitcher for LSU, so Hasty in effect got the start today, although he didn't. If you missed the beginning of the game, Samuel Dutton threw one pitch to Bench, who doubled, and then Hasty came into the game on a prearranged situation, and he threw 4 innings. And by the way, that matches his longest outing of his career. Hasty gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs. He walked 2, he struck out 3, and they all came in a row in a weird 4th inning. He actually had to pitch to a couple of other batters after his 3rd strikeout of the inning because of a pass ball. Now it's a very different look in Eric Raiselman.
98. 98 on the gun there to Tim Elko.
Raiselman, whose mother is from Ukraine. Raiselman speaks fluent Russian.
Now Elko, big fellow with 19 homers, so he doesn't have to do much. Just apply the barrel to the baseball because Raiselman's doing all the work. We'll see what happens on this pitch.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Hard to be quick when it's that fast.
Elko, Graham, and Alderman are scheduled to bat for the Rebels in a 3-3 game. Elko got an RBI on a ground out in the 1st, and he tapped back to Hasty in the 3rd. The pitch at 2-2. Fouled off again. The outfield is very deep, but it plays Elko as an opposite field hitter. The infield is very deep as well. The middle infielders are a couple of steps back on the grass. A liner to right. That's down for a base hit.
That's the one wrinkle in Raiselman's game that he will undoubtedly get better at over the next year or two in professional baseball is just the off speed. You know, right there that LSU kept firing fastballs. Elko kept fouling him, so they tried to trick him a little bit, threw a breaking ball, and it wasn't very good. It was a hanger up in the eyes, and he wasn't going to miss that opportunity to see something else.
That's the first hit of the series for Elko that has not been a home run. He was 2 for 9 in the first couple of games, and both of those hits were homers. Stevenson out in left field. Circles under it. He's got it for the first out. Kevin Graham is retired. And this brings on the DH Alderman, who came into the game with an 8-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 2. Last time he lined it to right. Fifth inning action. Ole Miss at the plate. 3-3 ball game.
Ooh. Not, you know, sometimes you miss one. That one looked like one of them. 97, right at the knees. Good downward tilt on that fastball too by Raiselman.
Elko has a moderate lead at best at first base. That pitch in the mid-90s again, but it misses 2-0. Every pitch of this SEC season is tracked by a computer device, and the umpires have access to the information after every game, which pitches were ruled balls or strikes via the computer, and how the actual call on the field was made. It's not so much for grading purposes as it is for tendencies, and if over time an umpire's strike zone is revealed to be lacking in an area via the computer, then that information is made available to the umpires. So if they're missing, say, a pitch, and I put that in quotes, low and outside consistently, that's something that the computer data will be available.
That's pretty cool. That's cool that they have that. Means that the umpiring should get better, right, over time?
Over time, yeah. Most of the umpires with whom I talk are in favor of that. Now, I think we should draw the line at the umpires. I don't think we should have a computer monitoring the announcers.
I agree.
Three balls and two strikes. Elko is off. A fly ball to Cruz. He's backpedaling quickly, looking up. Nobody can reach it. It's a home run over the center field wall. And on that swing, Kemp Alderman moves his hitting streak to 9 games. A base hit by Elko and the 8th home run of the season by Alderman have once again propelled the Rebels to a 2-run lead.
Now the big fella, 6'3", 265, got a 3-2 fastball. He knew what was coming, and that ball was up in the letters. Keep in mind that pitch is coming in at 97. It leaves probably at 107. That was a bullet to one of the deepest part of the ballparks. He's a big, strong fellow. Was one of the #1 rated first baseman in the state of Mississippi when he came out of Newton County Academy over in Decatur a couple of years ago.
Home runs have accounted for just about every marker today. TJ McManus has grounded out and struck out. He was 0 for 2 against Hasty. Raiselman out of the bullpen here in the 5th has surrendered a single. He got a fly ball to left, but Alderman homered over the center field wall. Trey Morgan is calling for it, although now he loses it, and that ball drops. Morgan was calling for it initially and then lost it in the sun, and nobody was able to get under it to make the catch.
Now that has happened too often this year for LSU fans. A number of dropped foul balls in foul territory, a large number, and right here it looks like both of them lose it. Morgan's looking to Raiselman. Raiselman's kind of waiting for Morgan, and instead it falls in. Another defensive lapse in this ballgame.
That would normally be the first baseman's ball as soon as it left the bat, but Morgan obviously was having difficulty finding the ball in the sun. Collier Cranford comes up throwing. Morgan is in the receiving position at first base, and there are 2 outs.
Now the good news is that mistake only cost 1 pitch, and there's no harm for LSU, whereas on the other side, when they had that pass ball after Hasty struck out his 3rd batter, it inevitably knocked him out of the game. He had to face 3 or 4 more hitters and wasn't able to return.
Hayden Leatherman has struck out and homered. Two outs in the 5th. A single by Elko and a home run by Alderman have reestablished the lead for the Rebels.
Oh, look at that wrinkle.
That was an off-speed pitch.
A little backdoor, looked like slider. Wasn't bad. Didn't miss by much. Off the plate. Maybe it was a changeup.
A lot of fade on that pitch.
That might have been a changeup, I think. Raiselman once again finds himself 3-0.
Raiselman is an accomplished piano player. That's a good guy to have around if you're going to have a team party.
Are we talking classical, or are we talking or Billy Joel? What I don't know what kind.
I haven't heard him play.
He might play some Chopin, and everybody looks around him like, what's going on here?
Well, I've heard he's good, and I don't know if he takes requests, but we'll have to find that out. Did you get some sun yesterday?
No, that's just high blood pressure. You just noticing it?
Yeah, just noticing it. I don't stare into your eyes that much anyway.
Please don't.
Chatinier, his first pitch swinging. Let's see if this is playable. It is not. Up on the dugout roof on the left side, where the powder blue uniforms are today.
Those are definitely some of the more iconic uniforms in the league. LSU's gold jerseys going back to 1996. They wear them mostly on Sundays, tradition. And then a couple years back, Ole Miss broke out the powder blues, and that's one of my favorite looks.
Two outs, a runner at first. 2 runs in on the home run by Alderman. Raiselman finds the plate. Ole Miss has 2 home runs in this game. It's got 7 in the series now. Is it going to be 8? Oh, yes. Another 2-run home run for Chatinier. His 8th of the season. That is the 3rd home run in this game, the 8th in the series. And the Rebels have moved ahead 7-3 with a pair of 2-run home runs in the 5th inning.
This was an 0-2 pitch, and it was down in the zone, but too much of the middle. That's the thing, unfortunately, right at this point in Raiselman's career, is the hitters don't sit on anything else but fastball. He doesn't have another pitch in his arsenal that they have to worry about. And so, good hitters get that foot down early, and they'll time them eventually. And you see a changeup trying to find something else. He threw a first pitch changeup right there.
You know what's remarkable? With the 8 home runs struck in this series by the Rebels, 3 of them today, those 8 home runs have come from 7 players.
Wow. I mean, they've put it all together this weekend. They've had the pitching, they've had the offense. I mean, this has been the best weekend of the year for Ole Miss. They came in, their batting average and their power stroke is all coming together perfectly at the right time.
Well, there's no question that Ole Miss is playing its best baseball of the year, winners of 8 of 10, and could be 9 of 11 if they are able to sustain this lead. Dunhurst has reached on an error with an RBI and also has
on the year, and their 51st game they're playing. Ole Miss now with 86 homers in game number 50 on the season.
Diamond finds the strike zone with Jordan Thompson at the plate. He had an infield hit last time and was aboard on the Pearson home run. Normally, you feel pretty good about your chances if you've homered twice and you're only reaching the midway point of the game. But Tiger pitching has surrendered 7 more runs right now. And
yeah, that was a strong suit of LSU, even though they really only have one consistent starter throughout the whole year, and that's Mikhail Hilliard. They've been able to piecemeal with 11, 12 other guys. A really nice team ERA that's been hovering around the mid 3.5s. It's up now to 3.83 before the game and rising. But all of a sudden this weekend, that bullpen and that staff has gotten exposed a little bit where that was not the case in the past.
LSU has been outscored in this series 23-7. Two balls, two strikes on Thompson. The Tigers are looking for base runners. There is a right-hander warming up for the Tigers. It may be Gervais. It is.
So what's interesting, Lynn, is that LSU between 1982, Ole Miss rather, had won a series back in Alex Box Stadium back in 1982. They did not win another series until 2019 in Baton Rouge, and they've done it back-to-back trips, as they didn't play in 20, and in 21 LSU played in Oxford.
So we go all the way back to 1982.
Yep.
And then fast forward to 20 what?
19.
So we're talking about 37 years?
Exactly. And they've done it back-to-back trips.
Trying to make up for lost time. Thompson is called out on strikes, and here's Cranford. He lines one to left field. It's off the glove of Kevin Graham. Cranford is on his way to second base. Cranford is on his way to third base, and he will make it with a headfirst slide. And then he upends the third baseman, Justin Bench, with that slide. Bench is slow to get up. Graham is slow to get up in left field. And Graham, quite honestly, should have caught this ball.
Well, the ball was hit a ton. This is probably the hardest hit ball by Collier Cranford in an LSU uniform. This is a missile to left field. Got on it, crushed it, and the outfielder charged in and realized, uh-oh.
He misjudged it a little bit. Now
right.
Watch Cranford sliding in.
Yeah, the throw was offline, and it took Bench kind of into the head of Cranford. I think Bench will be okay. He's going to stay in the ball game, but
Kevin Graham should have caught that ball.
Now,
but it is ruled a triple.
Yeah, ruled a triple correctly. First triple of the year for Collier Cranford. But no, you're right. If I'm Diamond, I want that ball caught if I'm on the mound.
Here's Pearson. LSU will use base runners any way it can get them. Hit number 5 for the Tigers. Pearson homered last time, his 7th of the season.
Now Collier Cranford calling timeout over there at third base. He's not feeling too good. Got the wind knocked out of him, so quite the collision over there at third.
Not often do you have the old triple knocker. You got the Graham was shaken up in left field. The third baseman Bench was shaken up on the headfirst slide, and now Cranford says he's okay.
Really,
I think Cranford may have had an upset stomach there and left something on the field.
Pearson had a no-doubter homer his last time up.
Now, with only one out, Pearson's job is to roll something to the right side if he does not connect for a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time left in this game. You know, he's not trying to get it all back with one swing. So you got to do your job. Ole Miss will allow the run for the out, and so LSU's got to take it.
The infield, especially on the right side, is very deep. It will concede the run without question. Thompson struck out looking. Cranford triples off the glove of Graham in left field. Pearson hits one into the gap in left center field. This one is down on the warning track. Pearson is on his way to second. He will pull up there. Back to back.
So quite the pedigree.
Dylan Cruz waits. And a quick strike finds its way in on Cruz. A triple by Cranford off the glove of Graham. A double by Pearson off the warning track in left center field. And now Cruz, who's 1 for 2. He struck out looking on a pitch that appeared to be outside back in the third. And he falls behind 0-2. Now it was an 0-2 pitch that Cruz hammered to left field in the first inning. One out, and a runner at second base, and a run in. Paul Gervais continues to warm up for the Tigers. So he evidently will come on in the 6th inning. 7 runs, 7 hits for the visitors. 4 runs, 6 hits, and an error for the Tigers. Cruz lifts this one to center field. Now the right fielder comes over and makes the catch. That was deep enough for Pearson to move to third. Leatherwood called off McCants and made the out. 2 gone for Doty.
Yeah, but Ole Miss will take it, even though we advanced the runner Pearson from second to third. It's a big out. You know, without Berry, Cruz takes on a more magnified role in the middle of this lineup, and that's anytime you can minimize the damage there, that's a win.
Doty has a sacrifice bunt, and he has grounded to short.
So
he is going over to
a timeout called by Jay Johnson to talk to Cade Doty. Probably Trey Morgan at the same time here. I guess a scouting report a little bit.
Morgan has homered in his last at bat. How good has Doty been this year with runners in scoring position? He's hitting .316.
Well, Doty, just as much as LSU, needs a confidence builder right here. You know, he needs to turn things around a little bit. He was Mr. Clutch and so good for the first couple of months of the season. One big swing here could get him back on track.
Doty in this series is 0 for 8.
That was a good breaking ball.
Yes, it was. Let's see if Doty can find a base hit here. If he does, he will extend the inning and produce a run. 2 outs, a runner at third. A liner to left field, that's hit well, but it is right to Kevin Graham, who didn't to try to hold the Rebels down for an inning or two. His first pitch is hammered into the left field corner. And Bench stops at second base. He has been trouble at the top of the order. That's his second double today. He also has walked. He's got 12 doubles on the year.
Well, somebody put the pitching machine on fast this week before coming to Baton Rouge, because they are not being fooled on heaters. That was a 94-mile-an-hour offering by Gervais. Very first pitch he saw did Bench from the 6'10 righty, and he pummeled it down the left field line.
So Raiselman is gone after 1 inning. It did not go well for Eric. He gave up 3 hits, a single, a walk, and a couple of home runs. And after the Tigers had tied the game. Ole Miss came back with 4 in the 5th and has a chance to stretch a 3-run lead after the leadoff double by Bench. Here's Gonzalez. Gervais backs him away. Seven runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Rebels. 4 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for LSU on a Sunday in Baton Rouge in mid-May that could prove to be historic for the visiting team. The outfield is deep for Gonzalez, and it plays him as a pull hitter. There's a gap in left center field. Bench with a leadoff double in the 6th.
Ooh. That's going to need a minute. McManus, foul ball right off the leg.
So you want to be a catcher?
No, I do not. Thank goodness I was born left-handed. It wasn't an option.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. High heat by Raiselman, and Gonzalez could not get it, by Gervais rather, and Gonzalez could not get it.
Watch this, the little kind of 3/4 action, the ball, it looks like a rise ball in softball. Kind of started off at the letters and then moved up into the eyes. 6'10", that'll get on you in a hurry. It's not just the velocity, it's also the distance that he is able to release the ball from the rubber. It's just closer to you as a hitter.
Here's Tim Elko. So a strikeout after the leadoff double by Bench as Gervais gets Gonzalez with no advance from the base runner. Elko has an RBI on a ground out. He also tapped back to the pitcher, and he had a base hit in the 5th and scored on the home run by Alderman.
Elko was 60 RBI now in the 50th game of the year.
In first baseman Elko and center fielder Cruz, 2 of the best sluggers in the SEC, are on this field. Elko has hit 2 home runs in this series. We'll show both of them to you. That one to left field.
That was a breaking ball off Floyd, and then game 2 off Fontenot. That was actually not a bad pitch. It was on the outside corner edge, and he just went with it. Tremendous power to any part of the ballpark.
Elko is a Floridian.
Although with that beard and that size, looks more like a mountain man than a Floridian. Looks like the brawny guy. Well, that was an excuse me, oops strike. You know, as a pitcher, you throw that one and you immediately think, uh-oh, and then, oh, okay, thank you. Because he missed his target. Watch right here. McManus is way outside. That ball catches just the inside corner, and it fooled Elko just enough he didn't swing.
The 2-2 pitch. Upstairs. First base is open. 1 out. And Bench at second base after the leadoff double. Kevin Graham is next. Seven 7-4 Rebels. This would be win number 31 for Ole Miss If the Tigers rally, it would be win number 34. Gervais fell off the mound a couple of times in his delay in the third game of the series. That series tied at 1 game each. You're up to date in the SEC. Graham out of O'Fallon, Missouri. Morgan is well behind the bag at first base. He's nearly on the grass. The infield is back looking for a double play. You see Morgan hugging the line as well. Graham with the base hit in the first has a 7-game hitting streak. That's inside and a misfire. McManus couldn't keep it at the plate. Boy, that has hurt LSU pitching so far this year.
This has been a common theme, although I don't know that I blame McManus on that one.
I agree.
That one missed so far from where he was set up. Couldn't quite get there. It would have taken an extraordinary effort.
That's going to be a wild pitch. Wild pitches and passed balls and errors have really taken a toll on the Tigers. So Graham is waved down, and this brings on Alderman. The bases are loaded with 1 out, and the Tigers really need to keep another runner from scoring. Alderman smacked one over the wall last time. He's 1 for 3. He's hit safely in 9 straight games. It was his 8th home run of the year. Gervais backs off. The wind blowing out toward right now. The outfield shades this right-handed hitter to the opposite side by 3 or 4 steps. And deep for Alderman. Stevenson in left, Cruz in center, Pearson in right. Let's see if the Tigers can get the pair. There's the tag, the throw to first, double play.
He would have had time for the runner to get to first and allowed the inning to continue, but it was a big moment for LSU to minimize the damage. Now they got to take advantage of it.
Jack Washburn is in his 2nd inning of relief. He came on and faced 2 batters in the 5th and retired them after a 1-out triple by Cranford was followed by a double by Pearson. 2-0 on Tyler McManus.
You know, Jack Washburn is a right-hander. His dad was a left-handed pitcher. His dad was a 2nd-round draft pick. Amazing story. His dad redshirted at Division III and then ended up being a 2nd-round draft pick and pitched in the major leagues, won over 100 games in his career and a World Series.
That was Jared Washburn. Ground ball left side, sucked up by Bench. High throw, but the stretch by Elko is good enough, and there are 2 outs.
Omaha's defense has been good today. No errors on the board.
I would have to believe that Jared Washburn is watching from someplace.
Well, Wisconsin is where he's from, and I know he was coaching high school baseball last I heard up in that part. Well, I don't know if he still is, but
Josh Stevenson will bat for the 3rd time.
Or he could be down here sweating at the box.
He could be. LSU is on the road in the final SEC weekend. Ole Miss is at home.
That was a sharp hammer curve, a hard breaking ball.
Stevenson out of Youngsville, Louisiana. where the crawfish harvest is probably in its last couple of weeks.
You had crawfish yesterday, right, for the first time?
No, I never made it.
You didn't? Oh,
no, I stayed with the boudin and the sausage and the chicken breasts.
You didn't go crawfish?
Well, I had to be in two places at one time. This ball is deep. It's way back, and it's off the bottom of the wall or the warning track, and Stevenson gets his first base hit as he extends the inning with a two-bagger in the right center field gap.
Well, he read this pitch well. Stevenson, not a power guy at this point in his career, picks up his fourth double of the year. Does have one homer, and that was much needed for the Tigers. 2 outs.
So he's in scoring position for Jobert, who has twice rolled out to the right side.
Jobert's average is down to 248 right now. Was not that long ago, Lynn, that Jobert was the first Tiger to double-digit homers, led the team and never do, and that is jog to the mound and jog back to the dugout. I've never seen Coach Bertman from 1984 to 2001 ever do that. So Mike Bianco, very different in that respect.
One ball, no strikes to Jobert.
So how time has flown out of football, baseball, and basketball in the SEC. Mike Bianco is the dean of all the coaches.
22 seasons in Oxford. That's off the mid of Dunhurst, who was a bit tardy in coming out of the crouch. So Stevenson advances to third on a wild pitch. Ronnie, to me, this is a ball that could have been caught.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't make a giant difference here. Stevenson has tremendous speed. He's going to score on a base hit with 2 outs anyway if he's at second, just like he would at third.
But it does offer the opportunity of a pass ball or a wild pitch or an error or a balk. Jobert is walked, and the tying run comes to the plate in the person of Jordan Thompson. Thompson has an infield hit. He has scored, and he has struck out. Let's see if the Tigers can advance this 2-out rally.
Now Jordan Thompson, capable of big moments. We all remember back in Houston hitting that walk-off homer at Minute Maid in one of those games. He has not had a home run since April 19th against UL Lafayette. He does have 4 in the season.
Here's Jordan Thompson's home run yesterday.
Actually, yesterday.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm looking at the wrong stat sheet. That's him to right field. A liner to opposite field. It's a big moment for the little fella to go oppo bomb.
That looks like a slider of some sort for a strike.
That was a good old-fashioned curve. So Thompson kind of stick the elbow out, seeing if he could catch it as it went by.
LSU playing in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 7-4. The Rebels have never swept a series in Baton Rouge. They've got a chance to do it today.
Thompson, out of all the starters in the lineup today, he has third most when it comes to doubles. He's got 12 doubles, and that would be definitely useful right here with plate 2.
Jobert will be moving on contact. Cranford is on deck.
Ooh, that got him.
The bases are loaded. Jordan Thompson is nipped by a pitch. And so the Tigers have loaded the bases after 2 were out.
Breaking ball got away from Washburn, and this LSU staff and team is trained to not move the bottom half, to turn the torso but not move the bottom half. They are top 10 in the country when it comes to getting hit by pitches, and that's going to be it for Washburn.
LSU is nearing the 100 mark in being hit by pitches 97 times. A Tiger.
I'm thinking you maybe get a Drew Bianco pinch hit right here. Instead, they're going to leave him in there.
He is first pitch swinging and lifts it in foul ground on the right side, and the rally is done. Cranford fouls out to Elko near the bag at first. LSU leaves the bases loaded and trails by 3 as we go to the 7th in Baton Rouge. Welcome back, everyone. We are so delighted that you have chosen to spend some time with us on this sultry Sunday here in Baton Rouge with 2-time College World Series champion pitcher and president of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, Ronnie Rance. I'm Lynn Rollins. Don't forget that Hall of Fame induction ceremony, a 3-day affair, will be the last weekend in June of this year in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
You know, we've got, I think, like 6 LSU ties going into that Hall of Fame this year. Go to lasportshall.com. Susan Jackson, the gymnast, Brittany Sneed-Newman, one of the great softball pitchers, and many, many others. So go check it out. All the info at lasportshall.com.
What about Kyle Williams?
Mm-hmm.
McCants and Leatherwood and Chatinier. Paul Gervais replaced Raiselman, who replaced Hasty, who replaced the starter Dutton. Cruz waits for this one to come out of the heavens, and he's got it. Gervais came on in the 6th, and he had to work out of a bases loaded jam. The Tigers turned a double play behind him for outs number 2 and 3. Leatherwood has homered. That came in his first at bat. Since then, he has struck out and walked and scored on the 2-run home run by Chatinier. Ole Miss has hit 3 home runs today, 8 in the series. Elko has 2 home runs in this series for the Rebels, and then every one of the remaining home runs has come from a different player.
Or Gervais, you know, with that 6'10" frame, that he comes at you with different arm angles, release points, and he's got tremendous run kind of away from left-handed hitters. And I'm telling you that the more he pitches, the older he gets, he's going to learn how to really manipulate the control on those different release points.
He came back inside on the lefty with that pitch.
Even though it's only 90 on the gun at the moment, it's stiffer than that for the hitter, because by the time he releases it, he's so much closer to the plate.
And it's that movement you talked about even more than the velocity. Now he took something off that and gets Leatherwood on strikes.
The slider, this is one of his best pitches he's thrown. That slider's under the bat, starts off kind of at thigh high and then ends up right above the dirt. Well done.
That ball was darting like a shad in shallow water. He throws another one for a strike. Chatagnier had a home run in his last at bat. He went down and got a pitch that was around the knees.
Yeah, a little 96-mile-an-hour Raiselman fastball down in the zone. He hit it right on the screws.
Chatagnier has had a good day. He also doubled and scored in the second inning. And he reached on a pass ball strikeout in the fourth and was stranded at third. So 2 runs scored and a home run and 2 driven in for Chatagnier, the second baseman. The 1-2 pitch. That's steered outside. Only once today has LSU pitching retired the Rebels in order. That came in the third inning. This would be the second time if Gervais retires Chatagnier. That sounds like a Louisiana origin name, but he's from Cypress, Texas. A called 1 pitch with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. He'll face the top of the Tiger order here in the 7th. It's Pearson, it's Cruz, it's Doty.
Yeah, big spot for LSU. Pearson, who's been red hot. Obviously, Cruz has been hot all year, and Doty. So LSU's going to get back in this game. This is their best part of the lineup.
Pearson lobs one to shallow center field. 3 defenders are converging on it. The second baseman, Chatagnier, makes a fine stretching catch in traffic, and he had to hear the footsteps of the shortstop and the center fielder.
Yeah, I kept looking at McCants in center field, kind of expecting that he'd be the one to come on and get it. Then my eyes also took me to Gonzalez, and at the last minute, Chatagnier said, I'll take it.
And he does with that backhanded stretch. A nice play by the second baseman who covered a lot of ground to get to it. And here's Cruz. If I'm not mistaken, Ronnie, Cruz, with that home run early in Game 1, has given LSU its only lead in this series.
Cruz now has 17 big flies on the year.
He hits it to the backhand side of Bench, who comes up throwing. Out on a close play. Well done by Bench. So 2 nice plays on the infield have provided a couple of quick outs to Gaddis and the Rebels.
Well done by Bench. That's the furthest throw on the diamond of any infielder. Backhand, your back's to the first baseman. You got to gather yourself and throw a long way right on the money. And he did.
So 2 quick outs, and here's Doty. He's 0 for 2. He lined out to left field last time. Doty had a sacrifice bunt in the first and grounded out to shortstop in the third. One ball, 1 strike. Derek Diamond went 4 innings plus an out. Jack Washburn went an inning and a third in relief, and now John Gaddis, who has pitched to 3 batters and retired them all. Doty sends one to center field. McCants has room as he continues to backpedal, and he makes the play.
Gaddis.
Ole Miss has had the lead at 7-4 right now, and Gervais is back on the mound for the Tigers. He's got Dunhurst at the bottom of the order, and then Bench and Gonzalez. Dunhurst is 0 for 2 with an RBI. There was no swing. Dutton, Hasty, Raiselman, and Gervais have pitched for the Tigers. LSU will play on Tuesday against Northwestern State out of the Southland Conference, and then go to Nashville for the final SEC weekend. Let's see how far this goes. It is off the wall. It stays in the field of play, and a double by Dutton. Seven to 4 Rebels. Ole Miss has never trailed in this game and has out-hit LSU 9-7 with 7 extra base hits. A liner to left field. Stevenson was playing the batter perfectly. Bench hit it well, but right at Stevenson. This brings on the shortstop, Jacob Gonzalez. He needs a hit to extend his streak to 6. He also needs to get on base to make it 15 in a row. LSU's got a left-right combination working in the bullpen, trying to stay within 3.
They'll automatically put him on to set up the double play. Gervais now with 35 pitches. He's worked 2 1/3 innings. Tigers do have double barrel action. Cooper and Collins, the righty.
Not often is the hitter in front of Elko walked to get to Elko, but this is the percentage play.
And, you know, Elko's a guy who potentially could hit into a ground ball double play. On the year, though, he's done it, let's see, 5 times. That's tied for the team lead with 2 others. Bench and Gonzalez have also hit into 5 double plays. So Jay Johnson, very much an analytics coach, is rolling the dice here.
LSU trails by 3. The Tigers have 6 outs remaining with which to work. And so by setting up the double play, Tigers already down by 3 in the late innings. I think this is certainly the percentage move. We'll see if it works out. Elko has an RBI ground out. He's 1 for 3. He also has walked. He scored a run. Steve Wright. Elko has homered twice in the series. A very strong right-handed batter. "19 home runs on the year for Elko. And with an RBI today, he's got 60. In this, his 50th game. Two and one. Trey Morgan is chasing it, but it's well out of his reach on the right side. Ronnie, those fans who have endured the sunshine the entire day, hats off to them. Well, maybe should be hats on to them.
A lot of the fans have made their way into the shaded part of the stadium and under the concourse as well, because it's been blistering out there.
Two balls, two strikes. This is the make it happen pitch. Popped up. It will carry to the outfield. Cruz is calling for it. And there's the second out. So one of the most dangerous Ole Miss scoring position. He's second on the team with a .387 batting average. He swings on the first pitch, lines it out to left field. Stevenson hustling over, but he can't get it. And Ole Miss adds to its lead. Well, a first pitch swing by Graham, and he drives it into left field. Stevenson was doing all he could to get there, but it dropped out of his reach. And here come the Rebels again with one in the eighth.
Right, Graham is a good hitter. You see his balance. He's spread out. He can hit the ball hard in any direction, and got an elevated pitch up in the zone. For the second time today, picks up a base hit.
So the run is charged to Gervais. Ole Miss has doubled up LSU 8-4. That was the 10th base hit of the day. The second by Graham. Alderman has lined out, bounced out, homered, and grounded into a double play. Out of Decatur, Mississippi is Kemp Alderman. Cooper misses low. A base hit by Dunhurst at the bottom of the order. Bench lined out to left. Gonzalez was intentionally passed. Elko was induced into a shallow fly ball to center that was caught for the second out. But Cooper has come out of the bullpen, and on the first pitch, Kevin Graham lines it to left for an RBI single. 3-0 now on Alderman. Again, Cooper has only walked 4 batters the entire year. TJ McCants is on deck. Ole Miss is getting closer to doing something it has never done in baseball. And that is sweep the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge.
That's really amazing.
It really is.
I mean, LSU didn't really become LSU in baseball to when Skip Bertman came in 1984. So think about all the years prior to that. Ole Miss had never swept in Baton Rouge. My goodness.
This series started in 1906, by the way, so that's well over 100 years we're talking about.
Right. And, you know, going into this last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of frustration in Oxford, you know, about the record and the disappointment of this season. And all they've done is get red hot at the right time. And I can tell you, as someone who kind of knows a little bit behind the scenes, that what a good job this Ole Miss coaching staff does on and off the field and the system that they have in place. Those that may be wishing for a change, be careful what you wish for, because it's easy to say, hey, make a change, get rid of somebody. That's more important on who you're going to get. You know, who can you get that's better than what you have? And what Ole Miss has become in the last 22 years is model of consistency and one of the best programs in all of the league.
McCants takes a strike as Cooper nibbles and finds the outside edge. McCants is 0 for 4. The bases are loaded. 2 outs. A double by Dunhurst. A line out, an intentional walk. A fly ball to center, an RBI single by Graham, and a walk to Alderman. And the bases are loaded with 1 in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cooper trying to get McCants and get his team back to the dugout with a 4-run deficit.
See what Cooper stays with. That slider down and away has been his best pitch to lefties this year.
Cooper will field it and make the underhanded toss over to Trey Morgan. AA play. So take that top number and then go back to, let's say, 14 wins where LSU is right now, and we'll show you those numbers again. And we'll also put it in perspective for you for Ole Miss. LSU with 14 wins. That's happened 24 times among SEC teams. 15 of those 24 have gone on to reach the NCAA tournament. That's a 63% percentage. And, Ronnie, I would think that the numbers in recent years with the added strength of the SEC have even become more friendly, let's say.
I think at this point, if you get 14 wins in SEC league play, you're about a 95% chance to go into the tournament.
Morgan lines it right at the second baseman. Trey is 1 for 4 today with a home run. So we'll try to put that back up again and show you where Ole Miss is. And historically, the percentage, the chances of reaching the NCAA tournament.
At the moment, Ole Miss has 12 wins. Obviously, they're ahead in this ball game by 4 with 5 outs to go.
But only 18% of the teams with 12 wins since 1999 have gone on. 3 conference games are left, of course.
So coming into this weekend, you had 2 teams playing, in essence, for different things. You had LSU playing to try to pick up wins to guarantee a host site. And you had Ole Miss trying to pick up wins to make sure they get into the NCAA tournament. Well, obviously, Ole Miss has accomplished their goal. LSU, on the other hand, is facing 14 wins. If they don't come back today, they've only got 3 games left. And in theory, Lynn, they've got to win them all at Vanderbilt.
This will help LSU. A long fly ball to left field. It winds up on the back row of the bleachers. A little bittersweet there, I guess.
Well, they won the series, so it wasn't that bittersweet. There was a kind of a cool dad moment, I'm sure, for Mike Bianco, and here we are once again. Now, we don't know if Drew Bianco's going to be back as a Tiger or not, or what the future brings. He does have another year of eligibility, although they had senior day today, and he, was a graduate and got honored with the other seniors.
You can see some of the paperwork there that's hanging on the wall in the dugout for Ole Miss.
Well, Bianco swung and missed at a couple of hittable pitches, a 1-0 fastball, a 2-1 fastball. He swung right through it.
Now the 2-2 pitch from the lefty. That's steered high and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. LSU needs a base runner. Remember, Morgan lined one as the preceding hitter to the home run right into the second baseman's glove, and Bianco does become a base runner. Ronnie, you've said it for many years, and you're absolutely correct. When you're down by 3, 4, 5 runs, it's rare to generate enough base hits to get yourself back in the ball game. But when there's an error, a mistake or 2, a walk or 2, then that base hit all of a sudden accounts for 2, maybe 3 runs.
That's right. That turns out to be a really good at-bat for Bianco, because he wanted nothing more than to swing. He wanted to hit a double, a homer, something big, but he showed the patience enough to be a team player first, and that extends the inning and gives LSU a chance.
So this will be Gilbert now, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Gaddis misses wide. LSU needs 1 more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Gilbert's average has slipped to 248. 12 homers, most of those coming in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. The pitch high and inside. There's a right-hander starting to warm up for the Rebels. That's Brandon Johnson. He's the Ole Miss closer. One out, a run in on a Tyler McManus home run to the final row of bleachers in the left center field area. And then the walk to Bianco. Jobert has grounded out twice to the right side and walked. 3-1. Gaddis is close to walking the tying run to the plate.
Well, you don't necessarily want to give Jobert a take if you're Jay Johnson, but you sure hope he puts it on a tee here.
Jobert is swinging. Lifts it in foul ground right side. And it is out of play. And that was a strike. Derek Diamond went 4+ innings. Jack Washburn went an inning and a third. John Gaddis came on in the 6th with 2 outs and retired the batter he faced. He had a 1-2-3 7th. But a bit of difficulty for Gaddis here in the 8th. Here we go, the 3-2 pitch. A called third strike.
Let's see. Fastball. Ooh, man, that is a tough pitch. According to that image, it seemed to be outside, off the plate. Definitely nothing Jobert could do.
Well,
definitely
give
Gaddis
some credit for throwing it where he got the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
And Jobert could not pull the trigger. Johnson is going to come out of the bullpen right now. So Ole Miss goes to the in which he's appeared. So here we go. Jordan Thompson at the plate. LSU still needs base runners to bring the tying run to the plate, and that one is way up and in. Gaddis gets credit for a couple of innings total over 3 different frames.
I always like to look at SEC games only, the stats there. And Brandon Johnson in the SEC has a win, 3 saves, 23 1/3 innings pitched. He struck out 36 in those 23 1/3, and opponents are batting only 174 against him.
But he has missed 3 times to Jordan Thompson. Collier Cranford is on deck. Four straight misses for Brandon Johnson.
Now it's a big miss. And how about this? Well, Giovanni DiGiacomo is going to get an at-bat here. It's been a minute for him.
So Cranford, who was 1 for 3 with a triple off the glove of Kevin Graham.
Giovanni DiGiacomo, Lynn, has not had a base hit since March 27th at Florida.
Are you talking 6 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if he can find one here. He takes a strike. DiGiacomo hitting .209. He's driven in 13. Or I should say he's driven in, well, we'll check his numbers. Yes, he's driven in 13.
He's 0 for his last 17.
Let's see if he can break out of the slump right here. He represents the tying run with 2 outs. A swing and a miss. This is DiGiacomo's second at bat in the series. He's 0 for 1.
And the last pitch was 95 to DiGiacomo.
If DiGiacomo extends the inning, the Tigers will have their leadoff batter coming to the plate. The pitch, swing and a miss, and that is all for LSU here in the 8th. The Tigers leave a couple of base runners aboard after the home run by Tyler McManus. It was his first hit of the day and his 8th home run of the season. We move to the 9th. It's 8-5 Ole Miss. The 9th inning is straight ahead on a sun-washed day in Baton Rouge. Ole Miss 8 runs, 10 hits, no errors. LSU 5 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. Drew Bianco has moved into the game at third base, and the Tigers also make a defensive change in left field with Giovanni DiGiacomo out in left. There's Bianco, and there's DiGiacomo. You know, in his career, Drew Bianco at LSU has played every position except pitcher.
And I know he jokingly lobbied to the media about a week or so ago about hopefully getting a chance to get in there to pitch to a batter or something. And, you know, maybe if LSU had won this series, they could take on Northwestern State on Tuesday, and it'd be a nice moment for Drew Bianco to face a batter. I don't think that's going to happen. I think LSU's going to come out a little irritated against the Demons on Tuesday, trying to get things back right before the weekend against Vanderbilt.
Riley Cooper takes care of Leatherwood, looking.
Just a pitch up in the zone here, a little fastball. Catches that outside edge.
That's a well-placed pitch. It's been feast or famine for Leatherwood today. He has homered and walked and scored, but he's also struck out 3 times. A liner scoots into left field off the bat of Chatagnier. He's 3 for 5. He has doubled, he has homered, he has singled, and struck out twice.
Don't think he's going to get a chance at the triple, but he's had quite the day. That was a 90-mile-an-hour first pitch swinging sizzler to left field.
It brings on the receiver, Hayden Dunhurst. Last time up, he doubled and scored. Dunhurst had a home run off Cooper yesterday. As we take a look at the swing, looked like a breaking pitch down around the knees, and Dunhurst was able to golf it into the stands. One ball, one strike, one out, one on. We play in the 9th. Ole Miss looking for its 3rd win in this series. Ronnie, there is a lunar eclipse tonight, but Ole Miss has pulled the shade down on LSU early. And also, I neglected to tell you earlier today that this is National Chocolate Chip Day.
Ooh.
I know you would be interested in that.
Oh, I need to celebrate that. Make sure I get a couple of those with some milk before night tonight.
The 1-2 pitch instead goes to first base.
You know, everybody has their favorite chocolate chips and all that. And there's a million bakeries and stores, and Great American Cookie Company is always a fantastic option for cake. But if you're just going to go down the aisle at the grocery store, you just can't beat it. Chips Ahoy. It's just a solid option. It's like the double stuff Oreo. Those are the two best.
Eight runs, 11 hits for Ole Miss. 5 runs, 8 hits for LSU. The 2-2 pitch coming to Dunhurst. That's a lot of throws over to first. We will check SEC scores for a final time in just a moment. With play having resumed after a rain delay in the third game of the Vanderbilt-Arkansas series, Vanderbilt has taken a 1-0 lead. Arkansas is batting in the third inning in Fayetteville. Both of those teams have won a game in that series. Right now, Arkansas has a 1-game lead in the loss column over Texas A&M. So the winner of the Vanderbilt-Arkansas game, which has resumed in Fayetteville, will win the series 2-1. Texas A&M, which is rolling right now, swept Mississippi State 8-2 the final today. Florida and Missouri each have won a game in that series. They're in the third game in the 9th inning. It's in Missouri, and Florida leads 4-3. Missouri batting in the 9th. South Carolina defeated, or actually lost to Kentucky today 7-1, and that gives Kentucky 1 win in the series. The Gamecocks win the series 2-1. Alabama and Auburn at a late start today. It's in the bottom of the 5th inning. Auburn has beaten Alabama twice in the series, but Alabama leads 1-0 in the 5th inning. And you are up to date in the SEC. This has been a long at-bat.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
And about that many have gone to first base.
I think LSU goes with the wear him out of idea. You know, if we make the runner dive back to the bag enough, he'll just get tired and not steal.
Ground ball right side. Doty to second. Johnson came on and faced 2 batters in the 8th. He walked the first one. He struck out the second one. Here's Pearson's home run in the 3rd inning. A whammer.
89-mile-an-hour fastball in on his hands, and he had the ability to just kind of pull his hands through, open those hips, and get the barrel to the baseball.
Since then, he has doubled in a run and also lined out in the 7th. Actually, it was not a line drive. It was a pop-up and handled by the second baseman after a long run. Let's see if anybody can get this. No, an overrun by Justin Bench, the third baseman.
Yeah, the best chance at that ball would have been Gonzalez, the shortstop, but he was shaded more towards second base, and so he had a long run and couldn't get there.
So Pearson's at-bat is extended. LSU needs at least 2 base runners to bring the tying run to the plate. Tigers scored 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 8th, but it's not enough. The Rebels got 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 4 in the 5th, and 1 in the 8th. One more home game for LSU during the regular season, and that's Tuesday against Northwestern State out of the Southland Conference. And a changeup gets Josh Pearson.
Well, when you throw 95, and hitters know that, they got to get geared up for it, and then that one just is a beauty. Pulled the string, looked just like the fastball, except 9 miles an hour slower.
LSU has struck out 33 times in this series. Here's Dylan Cruz, who had a single in the 1st. Since then, he has fanned, looking. He has flied to right and grounded out, and there's another changeup.
First pitch changeup for strikes. That's not fair. Down 3, Cruz geared up for that heater. Nope. Even with nobody on, not going to get a good pitch.
Brandon Johnson misses outside with heat at 95. He is the Ole Miss closer, making his first appearance in this series. Cruz had to step out of the way. This would be save number 9 this season for Brandon Johnson. Cruz comes out of his socks with that swing, but can't get it.
96. Johnson just challenged him. 2 balls and 1 strike, went right at him and won the battle.
And why not with a 3-run lead, 1 out and nobody on base?
Yep. Brandon Johnson, 6 foot, 195 pounder, 4-year letter winner in high school in basketball, baseball, and football. Team captain as well in all 3 over in Cottondale, Alabama.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. LSU needs a base runner and then another one. And it gets the first one. So a 3-2 pitch is not close to the zone, and Dylan Cruz keeps LSU's hopes alive. And Cade Doty coming to the plate. Trey Morgan is on deck. Brandon Johnson will have to wade through the best that LSU has to offer here in the 9th. 10 homers for Doty, 44 driven in. His average has fallen below 300 to 292. Cade is 0 for 3 today.
Doty has to find a way. Only swing at strikes.
And that's a breaking pitch. It's a strike.
I think we've talked about it before. It's incredible how the breaking ball zone has definitely expanded this year across the league. We're seeing more by the rule book strike than what we've ever seen before in the breaking ball.
The 0-1. There's a diver which hit the dirt. Cruz will be very careful at first base. LSU needs another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Morgan is on deck, and he has homered in this game. So has McManus, who's behind Morgan. 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Johnson reaches down. He gets some dirt rather than using the rosin bag. He's got to find the plate here. Doty must be selective. He is swinging. That ball is out of play.
Interesting decision. You know, when you 3-ball, 1-strike count, you're down 3. Even if he homers, it doesn't get you all the way back. They turned him loose nonetheless.
Doty thought that was a pitch he could handle. You'll be happy that he fouled it off out of play. And now the 3-2 pitch. It's very unlikely that Cruz will be moving. He is not. Cold third strike as it rips the outside part of the plate.
Well, is it a strike? Is it a ball? There you see the catcher outside corner. And whenever you see that catcher again, we talk about it, reach across to his right and then yank it back into the zone. You can be the judge. Too close to take, I guess.
My theory is always if the one strike. Ole Miss leading by 3, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. LSU with 3 home runs today, but it's not enough to this point. That's a base hit. It falls on the grass to the left side. Dylan Cruz will stop at third. And now the tying run comes to the plate.
That 6th homer in the last about 2.5 weeks.
A sweeping breaking ball dives out of the zone.
I don't think he's going to get anything good to hit.
But how about the irony with Drew Bianco in the on-deck circle? That's heat, and it's there.
He went inside on him, gave him something. That was a 1-0 fastball in that caught the inside corner. McManus was a little surprised by the location.
Runners at first and third. Again, a similar pitch. And now
you saw the highlight on the homer he hit earlier. It was away, away, away. He wants to extend his arms. Ole Miss knows that. They're not going to try to let him get comfortable, and they pounded him in on the 2 fastballs.
Advantage to the pitcher, Brandon Johnson, with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. The game is over. Brandon Johnson records the save, and the Ole Miss Rebels have that sweep, the first in their history against LSU in Baton Rouge. And the Rebels right now can claim to be, rightfully so, one of the best teams in the SEC over the last 11 games. They've won 9 of their last 11, and they are moving up in the standings.